At this point, we have a deceased male here at the location. Appears to be a white male in his early 40s. We also have another person detained on scene, believed to be the shooter. And so what we know at this point is that early this morning at approximately 9:15 a.m. approximately, we received a call for service at this location, basically in reference to a suspicious male that had come into the church parking lot. I think had approached one of the members and had shared some kind of vague words that somehow his mother was previously involved at this location or with the church, and that today was going to be the day, and referenced the pastor, not specifically, but just said today was the day and referenced the pastor. The responding unit attempted to locate the individual, but the person had already fled the location. At some point thereafter, church members or someone here at the church alerted another person about what had occurred, and the person came over here to just assist and see what was going on. And upon arrival, the person that had initially came here and made that so-called threat was still on the premises driving around. The male, here and described as the shooter, approached them from the rear and was parked maybe 20 yards away. When the preliminary information we have is that the male exited the vehicle, began running towards the male that came here to assist. At that point, it appears too that he was carrying some kind of a vape stick on him, small vape stick in his hand, made a run towards the second individual, at which time the second individual allegedly fired at least 2 shots with a long gun towards the male that was approaching, running towards him. And the male fell and collapsed there and was subsequently pronounced deceased at that time. So that's the initial information that we have here at the scene. Obviously, still interviewing witnesses. We're told there were approximately anywhere between 50 to 70 members inside the church at the time when this happened. No injuries sustained to anyone else, just that individual. We will work with the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences to gain additional information and obviously make a positive identification. But just from some of the preliminary information we have, it's our understanding that perhaps the individual that's deceased here may have been arrested sometime yesterday for some type of a criminal mischief incident where he damaged some other property and may have made some kind of threat to somebody else, perhaps unrelated to this. He was arrested, but it appears if it is the individual that we believe, then that person was released sometime early this morning from jail, and then obviously this has transpired here today. So that's the preliminary information we have at this time. Again, it's still preliminary, so we're going to give our investigators a chance to gather additional information by talking to witnesses, looking at the evidence at the scene. So I always like to just emphasize that this is preliminary. If we get different information or additional information, then we'll update with that information. But that's what we have at this point. Is there anyone here for Spanish? No Spanish? Okay. Any questions?
How old was the person, the deceased individual?
The deceased, he appears to be a white male, early 40s.
So he was released from jail this morning on this other...
Yeah, possibly. He hasn't been confirmed. It's just our initial information that we're piecing together. We still need to get a positive identification from the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences. But if it is the individual that we believe, then that's what transpired.
So where exactly the shooting happened? Like
it happened on the side of the church. It's like a drive goes around the church. It happened on that side.
You said it was a long gun?
Yes, a long gun.
What caused him to pull out the long gun?
Again, the initial threat that was made about an hour earlier, and the male. Again, I can't speak for him. This is just preliminary information. The initial information we have is that he was in fear when the male exited, began running towards him, and then the male was carrying something in his hand.
So you said it was like a vape stick or something, but yes. Were there any weapons or anything that was found on him?
We haven't processed the vehicle yet, so we don't know what's inside the vehicle. The deceased was outside of his vehicle, in between his truck and the shooter's truck.
But no weapons on his person.
We haven't searched yet. I mean, that we wait until the Institute of Forensic Sciences goes, so we could they could then review the body and those type of things. At this point, everything's considered evidence.
Are there cameras around there?
I'm not sure about cameras.
So the shooter, the person detained, was he already here when the suspect approached?
Not the initial time.
Okay.
He was called. He came here. We don't know his exact role or if he's a member. Just that they notified him, and he may be a member here. And he came just to see what had occurred earlier today or this morning. And as he was here and was driving around the premises, that's when he, found the individual or came across the individual. And both came to a stop, and that's when everything transpired at that point.
What's going to happen next to the shooter?
I'm sorry?
What's going to happen next to the shooter?
At this point, our investigators are, again, trying to just gather as much information as they can, talking to witnesses. At this point, it's our understanding that the shooter is cooperating with our investigators. It's sometimes in a situation like this, typically it could be a grand jury referral or it'll be up to them to kind of determine what the next steps are. I'll let them ultimately decide what those steps should be.
So he's claiming self-defense?
I don't know what his claim is,
okay.
Because I haven't spoken to him, and they're still gathering that information. I'm just saying preliminarily what it appears based on the information that we were able to gather. Again, all preliminary until there's further investigation. We can't package it all yet until we have more time.
How many shots were he?
At least 2.
Where was he shot?
Just in his upper torso area.
When you say long gun, is it like a rifle, a shotgun? Or?
Some type of rifle. Yeah, some type of rifle.
So how long was the suspect here that second time before? So like this shooter, he arrives, and then is it like just within a couple seconds he sees the guy?
I'm not sure how long, if he was already here when the male returned a second time, or if the male was here first and the shooter arrived there and after. But it seems like it may have happened pretty quickly, and so, but we don't have that exact timeline here as far as who was here first when the shooting actually took place. Yeah.
Was there church services going on at the time of the?
Yes, I don't know if they were within services or what, other than there were approximately 50 to 70 people inside the church at the time.
And you said there was witnesses outside too?
I don't know if they were outside or listened to the disturbance or the shooting and looked outside after that. Again, I don't know the sequence of all those events yet. That'll be part of our investigation.
How are the rest of the church members? Are they okay? They're okay?
Just from a quick look, they appear to be shaken up. But I haven't had a chance to talk to any of them in particular. We're going to let the investigators obviously determine who they need to talk to first. But they appear to be shaken up just from my observations.
And no one from the church knew this individual that approached, right?
He approached a person this morning. I didn't get any indication that person knew the person, but I don't know if somebody else inside the church may be familiar with this person from a previous interaction, or again, if it's the same person that came in earlier this morning. He referenced that somehow his mother was involved here. I don't know if as a churchgoer or with the property, or it was very vague. And so I don't know what his connection may have been to this, if any. And if it is the same individual that I referenced that had been arrested yesterday, it's possible that there could have been some type of mental situation developing or deteriorating since yesterday. So that all that's unknown. It'll just be part of our individual. So we don't know his identity at this point in terms of it being confirmed. So if there's other family members involved, for everybody involved, these situations can be very traumatic. Our condolences go out to the family members as well, and anybody that's affected by this loss, and obviously to this church community that's very shaken. And it's tragic that these type of things can occur anywhere, anytime. Here Sunday morning outside of a church service. So it's very tragic.
Okay. Thank you all.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.